All right, so let's talk about Ashes to Crown. This is a Yuku drama, but however, I am watching on Netflix. Netflix bought the rights to air it. Yuku dramas haven't been engaging enough for me to buy the platform, so that's the reason why. If it's on the other platforms I'm on, such as maybe Viki or is on Netflix, I will watch it. And this one is on Netflix, so that's the reason why I'm watching it. Um, this one stars Chin Du Ling and Zhao Yuran. I stopped watching about the episode 5 or 6. And the thing is, you're going to get spoilers if you don't want to. I know a lot of people don't have these platforms to watch it. I've been reading other comments on other people's um, review of it. But however, it's going to get slight spoilers. She fell in love with this young man. She thought this was the man of her dreams. He was very manipulative and deceiving. However, he played it like they were so much in love and couldn't wait to marry her. Her dad didn't really play him because he said the capital is a ruthless place. But she wanted to get married because she loved this man so much. So the dad was like, okay, go ahead and get married. And so she goes into the capital. And once she gets there, now I can't remember if it was once she got there or was it like I think it was 4 weeks later, like a month later, right before her marriage. Uh, the fiance started a treason. Okay. However, they didn't know it was the fiance who started it. So the whole emperor lineage died except for him. So the only person left was the fiance in order to take over the throne. And so then they got married. So now she's the empress. She's the empress now. And so about her 22nd birthday, he tricked her into having her father to come to the capital. And he knew that the father would not come unless she invites him. And he used some leverage of something he was going to present to the father in order for her to come to the capital. I think they were going to have him come to the capital. He can stay at a certain place in the capital, give him some land or something like that. So she sends a invitation to tell ex daddy to come to her 22nd birthday and that her fiance is going to give her this. The daddy shows up with his men, some of his men. Now, the daddy was a general in the army. Okay. So the daddy shows up with his men. When the daddy shows up, they took away their weapons and said, you cannot bring your weapons into the court. So the lead guy was like, do you want us to give up our weapons? And he's like, yeah, it should be okay. He gave up his weapons. When he gets into the courtroom or the room there, that's when the fiance immediately charged him with treason. The dad ended up dying. Okay. And so now we have our female lead crying, begging, wondering why you did this to my daddy. And basically, he did it because he wanted to, he needed the army. He said the only way he can have full control was that he has to have his father's army. So he played it off as saying that his fiance was so distraught that she hung herself, but she didn't. He pretty much strangled her. And then that's how she dies. In the midst of her dying, we have our male lead here, Zhao Yuran, comes behind him, stabs the emperor, and now she closes her eyes. She comes and gets reborn. They don't say reborn, but that's pretty much what she does. She gets reborn into the time of place right before she goes to the capital to get married. Or she's in the capital right before the fiance, before they got married. So now she's the fiance and the father still lives. The thing about Ashes to Crown, I'm not going to go too much more into it. I could explain a lot more. Zhao Yuran was there to protect Yeah, he was there to protect the empress now. I don't know. By the daughter. He came a little late, but that was just because dramatic purposes, right? I was wondering where he is. Women, where is the guy at, right? And so, in order, so then the thing about Ashes to Crown, once she ended up stopping the death of her father, and so and she ended up stopping the coup. The treason happened. It's supposed to happen 4 weeks later, right before their marriage. However, the um, fiance, it seems like the fiance was always a step ahead. And even later, after she stopped the treason to happen, he was still a step ahead of her. So it's like it was like maybe he was reborn again. I don't know. But however, he's always a step. That's probably what happened. Maybe he got reborn again because remember, he got stabbed. And so, but he was always a step ahead of her. And so, in order for her to, so she stopped it. She was able to save the little grandson. The grandson is Boyer from Pursuit of Jade. If I'm not mistaken, I'll tell you differently. And so he has a lot more. So now he actually became emperor. But in order for her to, the king, to give up the throne, because king is about ready to die too, she basically put her life as chastity. She said she would not marry. I will play the clip, but Yuku will probably block it. Uh, she cannot get married. She said she would not get married. She would not have any children. It was the lineage, the princess lineage or princess would stop and end with her. And so, and then we have our Zhao Yuran looking at him like, what? Wait a minute, who agreed to this? And that doesn't make sense because it can't stop and end with her. And she said, as long as I'm living, it's going to stop and end. There's not going to be a lineage after her. And but yet, if we have the grandson on the throne, once he gets of age, he could get married. I guess maybe I don't know because that didn't make sense. And so she vowed of celibacy. She vowed chastity. She's not going to get married. She's not going to have children. So I think that was the tug and pull relationship between her and Zhao Yuran. And but I thought that was the only thing that I found interesting. She did stop her father from dying, so she already got her revenge. But now she wants to further her revenge on her fiance. And why? You gave up your life in order for you to continue further your revenge on your fiance. You already stopped your. I could see if she comes back in time where the dad already died and she was able to stop, stop somewhere. But the treason happened. He got on the throne, so there was nothing in between where she can stop or she could stop him from not coming. I mean, there was nothing in between from the time the dad was already dead. Maybe she woke up or something at that point. The dad got stabbed and maybe go back further with the revenge, but there was no more need for the revenge because the daddy ended up living. She gave up her life, basically. And so now she just really just acts revenging the guy for what he did something in the past to stop him from trying to get the throne. That's kind of what she's trying to do because she doesn't want him to have the throne. But who cares, as long as you don't have to marry him, because now she doesn't marry him. And so she already vowed to not marry anybody. And so that's where we are. The thing I liked was when the little grandson, I could call him Boyer because that's the only thing I know him as, was they were trying to accuse Chu Zhao, which is our princess now. And she's only princess in name only. So it's a pseudo princess. But anyway, they were trying to accuse her of trying to poison him, the emperor, now emperor, and he stood up. I'm like, oh, he got voice. And that was the only thing. At this point, it doesn't matter to me anymore about her trying to get the throne. And if you want to stay there and see what happens with the tug and pull relationship between Zhao Yuran and her, then that's kind of only reasoning why you would continue to watch. Because right now, again, the revenge, he's always a step ahead of her. I'm assuming because the revenge supposed to happen, the treason was supposed to happen 4 weeks later when she came back, but he did it right then and there. And I think he must be reborn again too. But that's it. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I haven't saw any more of it. That's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I think, and I kind of dragged it on a little bit, but I'm glad you stayed to the end. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate every subscription I got. Thank you for watching. Media adjourned.